Hey everybody, welcome to Kansas. Yes, I have moved to Kansas. Not really. If I had, I'd have to move away. I would have had to move my whole house in order to have this room in Kansas. No, I'm still in northern Utah. Yep. Adjust my microphone here. Uh, but yeah, today on Rocky Mountain Rankings, we're going to be ranking the albums, not the songs, of Kansas. That that fantastic band that started out in Topeka, Kansas, and officially started out in 1973, but, excuse me, actually started out way before then. If I remember correctly, the Kansas we came to know and love started out in 1973. It was like Mark II. There was a Mark I before that, and that didn't last very long, though they did record some songs and some live stuff. And if you want to check that out, it's on an album called Proto-Ka, Early Recordings of Kansas. In fact, I should have bought that down from upstairs, but I didn't. But it's really good. In fact, it inspired Kerry Livgren to bring back some of the band members from that era and do some albums. And they're pretty good. They're pretty dang good. So somewhere down the road, we'll be talking about that. So anyway, yes. They started out in 1969. Don Moultrie, Kerry Livgren, Lynn Meredith, Dan Wright, along with another bunch of people. Too many to name here. So anyway, the official one started, the one we came to know and love, started out in 1973. And of course, that was Phil Arnhart, Kerry Livgren, Dave Hope, Steve Walsh. Who am I missing here? Oh, Rich Williams and Bobby Steinhardt. They got together, I think, after White Clover joined with what the remains of, I think that, White Clover joined Kerry, and they officially named the band Kansas. Prior to that, I believe Phil Arnhart and Dave Hope played in the first Kansas. Excuse me. So anyway, now that I think there was 3 versions. The first one didn't last very long. The second one was the one that recorded. I did the recordings that were on Proto-Ka, and then they broke up, and then White Clover joined Kerry to continue Kansas. So I think you get the gist of it. So anyway, there are officially 16 albums, but one of them, Always Never the Same. I was going to include that, but it's more of a, if you see me swinging at things, there's mosquitoes in here. I like to fly around and get in my face. So I don't know why they light this room. Maybe because it's cool. It's the coolest room in the whole house, other than my bedroom. This house is solid brick. So it heats up during the day and radiates the heat at night. So, but anyway, Always and Never the Same. That's a fantastic album. Basically, they did 2. Let's see here. God, I can't remember. Okay, they basically older songs. They did do some new songs. They did Eleanor Rigby, Beatles cover, which is okay. Dust in the Wind, preamble, an orchestration, which is fantastic. Leads right into Song for America. Love that one. In Your Eyes, a new song. Miracle Out of Nowhere, Hold On, The Sky is Falling, a new song. Cheyenne Anthem, Prelude and Introduction that goes into The Wall, and Need to Know. Love that song. Fantastic. Then it ends with Nobody's Home. Yeah, it's got some new songs in the cover, but it's basically re-recordings of older stuff they'd already done. So I'm not going to include that on here. With this album, Robbie Steinhardt officially rejoined Kansas, which I've loved. I love Robbie Steinhardt, his vocals and his violin and stuff. Not taking anything away from what's his name? Can't think of his name. David Ragsdale. Apologies. Can never remember his name. So anyway, so we're going to just do 15 studio albums. And before we start, please subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything. All you got to do is click the button and you're subscribed. If you don't want to watch it, that's fine. If you want to watch it occasionally, that's fine. If you want to watch it all the time, hey, that's great. But it's up to you. But it really helps things. Please hit the notification bell so you don't miss anything, and like the videos, and leave a comment down below. Especially leave a comment about what you think about Kansas. Leave your own ranking. I'd love to see it. I try to respond to everybody's comments. Just a sec. Let me. These dang mosquitoes. I swear I got about 5 of them in here. But yeah, I would love to see your rankings. So anyway, let's get on with it. Let's get on with it here. And for those who don't know how this works, I start with my least favorite, work all the way up to my favorite. Just because it's my least favorite doesn't mean I hate it. It's just I don't reach for it as much. So starting out at number 15. Ooh. The mosquitoes are trying to steal my show. They just fly around. They don't do nothing. They don't, and they say don't drink anything sweet. Well, I've been drinking something sweet. Well, they just fly around. So anyway, number 15. And I am getting upset. Now this album, when I first heard it, it was some of the songs, had the Kansas textures and everything, but quite a few of them are totally different. And this album had just about everybody that had been in Kansas prior, up from 1973 on, minus John Elefante. That's Steve Walsh, Kerry Livgren, Bobby Steinhardt, Rich Williams, Billy Greer, Dave Hope, and Phil Earnhardt. And of course, I'm talking about Somewhere to Elsewhere. Released in 2000. Good album, though, well, from what I understand, let's see. No, I was wrong. I was going to say, I think Kerry wrote, well, maybe he did. Let's see. It doesn't say who wrote what. Usually it does. Okay, yeah. Kerry Livgren composed all the album tracks and sang, which he did not normally do on the hidden track. Something Dome. Geodesic Dome. Okay. But this one shows that this is Kerry of the 21st century. Other than a couple of songs, I really can't get too into this album. It starts out with Icarus 2, basically a song. I thought it was going to be a continuation of the original Icarus, but it's not. It's about a bomber called Icarus 2 during World War II. Good song. I love it. Then it kind of gets bizarre. When the World Was Young, it's okay. Grand Finale, bizarre. Coming Dawn, my favorite track from the album. I love the Coming Dawn. It's fantastic. Myridia. I'll get it out. Myridia. Good song. Okay. Look at the time. Yes, look at the time. Disappearing Skin Tight Blues. Robbie sings this one. In fact, look at the time. Billy Greer sang on that one. Bizarre Disappearing Skin Tight Blues. It's kind of a funky tune. Can't really get into it though. Distant Vision's okay. Walsh and Steinhardt sing on that one. Byzantium, it's okay. Not Man Big. Not a big fan of that one. Then it ends with this hidden track, Geodesic Dome, which Kerry does the vocals, which is, I don't know. But anyway, not a bad album, well put together, but it just, songs are too bizarre. Not all of them, but the Coming Dawn, I just love that song. It's just awesome. So that is number 15. If you love that album, fine. But this, remember, this is my choices. And also, as I always say, this show is to get information out there, to let people know about these albums, make up your own mind about them. Just because I don't like an album very much doesn't mean you won't. And just because I like Revere album doesn't mean you're going to revere that album. So anyway, on to number 14. Okay. Released September 16th. It's the third album without original lead vocalist and keyboardist Steve Walsh. It's first with Ronnie Platt on vocals. I'm talking about the Prelude Implicit. This album I haven't really gotten into very much. That's why I'm ranking it where it is right now. With time, it'll probably move up, but right now, I need more time. But it's well put together, great album. Ronnie Platt really hits it out of the ballpark on the vocals. I mean, his voice It's not Steve, but he's not trying to be Steve, but it comes close. Uh, I would say his vocals remind me of early Steve Walsh. It's a little bit deeper, but still it works. He really does a great job. Haven't really got any favorites off this album, but I was going to put this last, but somewhere else where it's just, like I said, too many bizarre songs. This one is more in the Kansas realm. Like I said, given time, it could move up. It probably will move up, but right now it's going to be stuck at number 14. But definitely check it out. I mean, they're going through a transition, from Steve Walsh and Robbie Steinhardt left again. I was hoping he'd stay, but of course, he passed away not too long ago. Sad day. So anyway, with this heart's good. Visibility Zero, good. Unsung Heroes, Rhythm in the Spirit, Refugee, Voyage of 1880 or 1880, 818, Camouflage, Summer, Isolate. This great Kansas City stuff. It is more mellow than the most recent album they put out. So, but anyway, still good. So, anyway, boom on number 13. Okay, go back to the early 80s. An album that kind of took, all of us by surprise back then. But it's an album that even though I like some of the tracks, it was not only me, a lot of Kansas fans couldn't get into this very well. Released 1982. So I'm talking about Vinyl Confessions. There's the band on it at the time. You had Dave Hope, Kerry Livgren, Rich Williams, Phil Arnhart, Robbie Steinhardt, who would leave right after this, and then John Elefante. This album is just, I call it a transition album because they were going from Steve Walsh to John Elefante. John really, and he still does, revere Steve Walsh. In fact, he says Steve Walsh is the one who inspired him to become a singer. And his vocals are good. They come close, they're still in that realm of high and lows. I know Robbie Steinhardt really didn't have much to do on this album other than some violin, so that's the reason why he left. I don't know if I think he sang on a couple, but anyway, Play the Game Tonight was their hit from this one. The only song that did anything from this album. That follows up Right Away, Fair Exchange, Chasing Shadows, Dimes and the Pearls, It's Okay, Face It, Windows, Borderline, Play On and Crossfire. Other than Chasing Shadows and Diamonds and Pearls, nothing's really memorable. I do love Play the Game Tonight, but this album could be lower, but right now the previous two, are kind of holding it up a little. But borderline, yeah, kind of dig that one. But to me, it's mostly filler, so might be different for you. But anyway, that's number 13. But definitely check it out. Make your own decision. Okay. Hang on a sec. I'm gonna run out of room here. Sorry about that. Okay. Number 12. Another bizarre album, though a little bit more in a likable bizarre sense. Released in 1995. The only album that had Greg Robert. The only studio album, let's put it that way. He was on the previous live album, Live at the Whiskey, which I love that live album. If I was to rank that, that'd be number 2 to two for the show. But this is the only studio album he appears on. First one with David Ragsdale, which I'm talking about, Freaks of Nature. Again, bizarre album, but not as bizarre as Somewhere to Elsewhere. This is actually the first. Well, no, I take that back. It's not the first one. Let's do that. Never mind. A lot of people that I've talked to about this, who are Kansas fans, don't like this album. I kind of dig it. Starts out with I Can Fly, really an upbeat tune. Then it goes to Desperate Times. Hope Once Again, love that song. Then we go into a bizarre one, Black Fathom 4. Black Fathom, not Phantom. I know a lot of people say, heard that Black Phantom 4. Kind of bizarre tune. Under the Knife's okay. Need. Freaks of Nature, I kind of dig that one. Cold Gray Morning, love that. And it goes into Peaceful and Warm, also fantastic tune. Cold Gray Morning is actually written by Kerry Livgren, so he's still making his presence known from time to time. But like I said, just about everybody I talked to, they do not like this album. To them, it's too different from anything else. But I always say sometimes difference is good. Sometimes it's not good, but in this case, it's kind of right in the middle between good and bad. So, like I said, there's some really good songs on here. Hope Once Again, Freaks of Nature, the title song, Cold Gray Morning, and Peaceful and Warm. Just love those tunes. I was kind of looking forward to Greg Robert and David Ragsdale being on more, but they left right after this album and this tour. And I think that's when Robbie Steinhardt rejoined. Excuse me. So anyway, that's number 12, Freaks of Nature. But definitely check it out. Okay. Going back to the early 80s once again. Released in 1983. The second album with John Elefante on vocals, and the first one without Robbie Steinhardt on violin. Talking about drastic measures. I'm going to take drastic measures with you. See that guy with the bazooka? They're going to take drastic measures. I remember when this came out, everybody was in love with it. Starts out with Fight Fire with Fire. I mean, just that very first song that just reaches out and grabs you and starts punching you in the face. Love it. In fact, I remember this tour. And this is actually the last one with Kerry Livgren. He would leave right after this. But they played at Weber State, the event center. And I was working at Weber High as a janitor, and it was summertime. And we asked our boss if we could go get some tickets. We were looking forward to this. This is when I was really big into Kansas. I'm not as big into Kansas as I was then. I love Kansas still, but back then, it was me and all my buddies. We were big Kansas freaks. But he said, yeah, go ahead. So we went down to the event center. There was me, Brent, and Ted. And we met somebody we knew coming out, and we asked him, hey, do they have any tickets for seats on the floor? And he said, no, they're all gone. They were great. Because we're really trying to get some tickets on the floor. The closer the better. So we go in and we started talking to the lady, and we go, what's the best tickets you have left? She goes, front row. And Ted goes, you're not talking on the floor front row. And she goes, yes. Really? Yes. So we got like 4 tickets on the front row and the rest on the second row. I can't remember how many there was that went with us, but we were in seventh heaven. We got back and everybody, it was fantastic. We went there. I couldn't believe it. We were right there on the front row. Kind of out to the side, but still. And it was great. I mean, Rich Williams was right there in front of me. John Elefante, he was all over the place. Kerry Livgren, Dave Hope. It was just a fantastic night. And in fact, at some point, they had a barrier between the stage and us. And at some point, we all pushed that barrier forward. So we were right there. In fact, I remember one guy coming out to the left of me, looking and then looking back at somebody and going, they pushed it up. But it was a fantastic night. The only time in my life I've been on front row for a concert. So anyway, back to this album. In fact, that's the song they started the concert with, was Fight Fire with Fire. Everybody's My Friend, another great tune. Mainstream, love that. Really hard rocking. No, I take that back. I'm wrong. They didn't start with Fight Fire with Fire. They started with Mainstream, I believe. Yes, I'm sure of it. But anyway, Andy's okay. And then the second side, it kind of goes downhill. Going through the motions, Get Rich, Don't Take Your Love Away, End of the Age and Incident on the Bridge. Never could get into any of those songs. Even today, I can't remember the last time I heard those songs. I mean, it starts strong and just ends weak. That's why I got this at number 11. But still, the first 3 songs on here just are, just do it for me. They're keeping it a little bit higher. But yeah, this is also the last album with John Elefante on vocals. They say last album with Kerry on keys and guitar before the band kind of broke up, and then Steve would be back. So, but anyway, on to number 10. Okay, released in 1988. Album that I instantly fell in love with. And that album is In the Spirit of Things. Second album with Steve Morris on guitars. Second album with Billy Green on bass. Of course, you had Steve. Second album that Steve was on since his return. Of course, you had Rich Williams and Phil Earhart, the mainstays. But when this album came out, I fell in love with it. A lot of people do not like this album. In fact, it seems like every ranking album show I've watched, them ranking these albums, they just have this at the lower tier. But I just love it. It starts out with Ghosts, and then just goes right into One Big Sky. Fantastic song. Love it. I picture, you started with Ghosts, and you're in an old town in Kansas or Utah or whatever. More like Utah. Sorry, I'm prejudiced on that. I love Utah. Nothing against Kansas, but I love Utah. But you start out in this ghost town, and all of a sudden, boom! You're below this big, fantastically blue sky, out in this field, and that's what I picture every time I listen to these 2 songs. There goes an Inside of Me. It kind of dips down with that one. That's not a biggie with me. One Man, One Heart's good. House on Fire. Kind of rocker, more, not quite in the vein of Kansas, but still great song. Once in a Lifetime, love it. Stand Beside Me, I love that one. Counted on Love, not so much. The Preacher's good. Rainmaker, love that one. Teal Witcher, little acoustic instrumental. And the Bells of St. James, ends, love that one. And, starts strong, ends strong. But I haven't listened to it very much in recent years, so it's kind of sunk. But still, fantastic album. There's the guys on the back with the spirit of themselves. But still, it's awesome album. Definitely check it out. So, anyway, that's number 10. On to number 9. Okay. Another album that I fell in love with when it came out. Released in 1986. First album with have Steve Walsh back on lead vocals. Steve Morris and Billy Greer, the first album with them two on it in the band. Of course, I'm talking about Power. So not released in 1986. Kind of caught everybody by surprise. Caught me by surprise. I remember going through a music magazine and boom, there's everybody, Steve and Rich and Phil and Billy on, I'm like, wow, Kansas is back. Fantastic. But yeah, again, starts out with Silhouettes in Disguise, and then goes into Power, fantastic 1-2 punch right there. All I Wanted, kind of nice ballad, but I'm not a big fan. Secret Service, love that one. Secret Service. Secret Service. We're Not Alone Anymore, love it. Music Canto, little instrumental, it's all right. Taken in View, love that one. Three Pretenders, great song. Tomb 19, kind of on the vein of Black Fathom 4, but still good. It ends with I Can't Cry Anymore. Kind of a cover, a producer's cover. I've never heard of the producers. So anyway, great album. Though recent years I have not listened to this that much, but still, fantastic album. Definitely check it out. Power. Number 9. On to number 8. Okay. Released in 1974 by Don Kirshner. Of course, I'm talking about the debut album, Kansas. There's the band back then. Rich Williams in his coveralls, checkered shirt. And just about everybody except Rich had facial hair. Probably going to get some flack for having this at so low. A lot of people revere this album. But you can definitely tell that this is their debut. I mean, they're still feeling their way here. A lot of these songs were recorded written and recorded by the previous version of Kansas. Excuse me. And I know Kerry Livgren has stated that listening to these songs, you can pretty much tell his state of mind on things, be it politically or, environmentally or anything else. And it's true, you can hear what his pet peeves are, basically, or what he's going through. I mean, he said that he went through a lot of different swings on religion, and trying to find his way in life, which led him back to becoming a born again Christian. Becoming a born again Christian, to me, it tells you left Christianity. I mean, whatever. But I still find that term born again Christian kind of bizarre. So anyway, I'm not going to get the religious aspects of things. Starts out with "Can I Tell You?" Kind of a good little tune, but kind of weak. It goes and bring it on back to Mexico, bring it on back. Bobby Steinhardt singing on that one. Lonely Wind. Love that one. Great Steve Walsh tune. Alexis, Carrie's first song on the album. Journey to Mary Brom. Another tune that's been kind of a mainstay in their live shows. The Pilgrimage, great. I always have a hard time pronouncing this song's name. Perku, and then that goes into Death of Mother Nature Suite, which is a fantastic tune. I heard a different version, excuse me, on, was it a different? No, it's a live recording, and I think that was on the Protocol album of Death of Mother Nature, which I just love. It was a fantastic live recording. So, but anyway, good album. But I just never really got 100% into it. It could change later, but right now that's sitting at number 8. So what can you do? If you don't like it, tough. That's me. If it's different for you, leave it down below, and I'll check it out. So anyway, on to number 7. Okay, released September 20th, 1975. Probably not the album I'm going to get flack for, but I don't care. Another album I really had a tough time getting into. Still have a tough time getting into today. I'm talking about Mask. Of course, there's the players on the back. Same as the first one. Better. They're definitely honing their skills here, their sound. Of course, that sound that wouldn't really be established till the 4th album. But here it's getting refined. It takes a woman to make a man. Good tune. 2 cents worth, all right. Not really a big fan of those two songs. Icarus, Born on the Wings of Steel. Great tune. Another concert mainstay. All the World. Love that one. Side 2, to me, is a lot stronger than side 1. Starts out with Child of Innocence. Fantastic. It's You, the only weak song on side 2. Mysteries of Mayhem. Great. In fact, speaking of Mysteries of Mayhem, the version on Live at the Whiskey, check it out. Love it. They change it up. It starts out slow and then just rocks out and goes slow again and rocks. It's just, I love what they did with it on Live at the Whiskey. Definitely check it out. Then ends with The Pinnacle. Fantastic. Again here, Liv Grin, you can pretty much tell which songs are written by Carrie Liv Grin, like Born on Icarus, Child of Innocence, Mysteries of Mayhem, and The Pinnacle. Definitely got that Liv Grin touch. But, like I said, this is Carrie trying to find his way in life, like you said. So, but anyway, they're definitely honing their skills here still. But they're getting better. So, anyway, that's number 7. On to number 6. Okay. This album pretty much revered in the Kansas area, Kansas camp. This album could be higher, but right now it's going to be at number 6 because the ones that are to come, I believe, well, to me, I love a little bit better. Released in 1975. Of course, I'm talking about their second album, Song for America. There's the guys on the back. Like I said, people revere this album. But still, they're still quite not there with the Kansas sound, as far as I'm concerned. I mean, though there are songs here that have that sound, they're still honing their craft. Starts out with Down the Road. People love that song. It's a good song. I love it. Song for America. That is definitely the Kansas first magnum opus. It goes to the Lamplight Symphony. Fantastic. Lonely Street. Love that one. Devil Game. Great. And then it ends with, no, I'm probably going to butcher this. And come Dro, Hymn to the Atman. Carrie Livgren, right there. Of course, Song for America, Lamplight Symphony, and that one, Hymn to the Atman. You can definitely tell they're Carrie Livgren penned tunes. But all in all, they're definitely, honing their skills here. Getting better all the time. So, and this one, to me, well, obviously, it's better than the first one and the second one, or the third one. They kind of, with the third one, they kind of go off the track a little bit, but here they're heading in the right direction, but they kind of veer. Let's try over here before coming back to where they should be. So anyway, that's number 6, Song for America. On to number 5, top 5 at 5. Okay. This one, I know there's going to be people asking me, Davies, how could you? This is really not Kansas. Well, sorry, it is. I know you get those people out there that when certain people leave a band, that band is no longer that band. For example, Styx. I've gotten flack for saying Styx is still Styx, which they are, even though Daddy Dennis is no longer with them. I'm sorry, but I went and seen him last year, and they blew the roof off the place we saw him at. People say, "Oh, what high school did they play at?" Well, sorry, they played in an arena. The arena was sold out. It was a big arena. So anyway, we're getting off the track here. The same thing is happening with Kansas. Steve Walsh. It's not Kansas without Steve Walsh. Well, sorry, it is. So anyway, released June 26, 2020, when the pandemic was raging. Of course, I'm talking about the absence of presence. Now, Pete Pardo was talking about this album, and he was saying that the cover's great, but they could have done a little bit better with the logo, and you can barely see the title there. And I tend to agree. They could have had it a little bit more refined. You can barely see the Kansas logo, but what can you do? I was listening to this album right before I started doing my show, recording this. I'm falling in love with this album. I mean, this is the new Kansas. This is the Kansas of the 21st century. A lot better than the Prelude and Implicit. And what's really neat is the Phil Ironheart, who did a lot of the writing of the previous albums, is let's see, only present on three. Everybody else gets to do their thing on this. So the new guys are getting their chance here. Starts out with the title song, fantastic. Throwing Mountains, great. Jets Overhead. Propulsion 1. Memories Down the Line, great. Circus of Illusion, Animals on the Roof, Never. And the song the river sang. The more I listen to this album, the more I love it. I mean, on this one he got Ronnie Platt on vocals, Rich Williams on guitar, Zach Rezav. Apologies if I butchered that, on electric guitar. He's since left. He did the production and mixing on this one. I think he did a fantastic job. Tom Brislin, keyboards, lead vocals on the song The River Sang. He does most of the lyrics on this and a lot of the music. David Ramsdale on violin, Billy Greer on bass, and Phil Ironheart on drums. Just fantastic album. Different from previous stuff, but still Kansas textures and drums and guitar. I just love it. Tell you, Rich Williams and Phil Ironheart, they're beasts. I mean, especially Rich Williams. I mean, I'm sorry, but he looks like he'd keel over every second. And I hope he doesn't. I hope Rich lives, gets a chance to retire, but I don't think he'll ever retire. I think he'll, go playing. And, what better way to go than to go doing something you love. Same with Phil. Of course, Steve Walsh, he retired, but did he really? He may be retired, but I'm sure he's doing other things. I can't see him just sitting on the porch in his rocking chair telling his grandchildren, yeah, kids, I was in a band called Kansas. Yeah, check it out. No, he's still doing stuff, I'm sure. So, but anyway, like I said, this is going to definitely move up. Fantastic album. Check it out. Absence of Presence. Though I must say the names of these albums, the last few albums, I don't know, strange to me. So anyway, on to, that's number 5. We're in the top 5 at 5. On to number 4. Okay. This album released in 1979 on the heels of their first live album, Two for the Show. There was something to talk about. Not that one. Got to change things out here. I need to definitely clean this room. Talk about Monolith. Love this artwork. I mean, if I was to rank the artwork, maybe I'll do that one of these days. This would be at the top, if not number one. I mean, I just love it. Now, this album, like I said, came on the heels of Two for the Show, and it kind of fell flat. But over time, it has kind of aged really well. You know, and a lot of musicians and singers and such will tell you, when you have a big album like Point of No Return, and then you follow it up with a fantastic live album, topping that or even staying even, on the same level is really hard. Kansas was tasked with a very big chore here. A lot of people say they failed, but I think a lot of people put our expectations as fans were too high. We put those expectations too high. And when we heard this, we're like, well, come on, guys. Where's the blockbuster? This is supposed to move up, not down. But like I said, with Fine Wine and stuff, this aged really well. I love it. Starts with On the Other Side, fantastic. People of the Southland, love that. I still love that song today. That was their hit single from this album. Angels Have Fallen, great. How My Soul Cries Out for You, kind of a strange tune, but still love it. A Glimpse of Home, great. Away From You, Stay Out of Trouble, kind of a rocking little tune there. It ends with Reason to Be. You also hear Carey kind of changing his outlooks on things. And from what I understand, right here is where they were kind of, we need to get out of the rock star mode and into more of a Christian type thing. And Carey was on that track right here. If not, he would be. But this album has aged really well. Could have been better. Yeah, it could have been better. But it's, like I said, trying to top a blockbuster, 2 blockbuster albums. It's just 3 blockbuster albums, I should say, Left Overture. It's just really hard to do. So, anyway, that's number 4, Monolith. Okay. Number 3. Change things here. Over there. Now, this album, when it came out, again, a lot of people weren't impressed, but for me, this album has really aged well. Released in 1980, kind of trying to come up with something more epic, following their was kind of let down with Monolith. So I'm talking about Audio Visions. Kind of love this album cover, though the back, that guy kind of creeps me out. Kind of like, dude, what are you selling? What did you take? Get away from me. but still, a great album. Like I said, Kerry Livgren was converting to Christianity. Steve Walsh would, eventually would. Rich Williams, Dave, Dave Hope, and all of them. So you can hear they're getting away from the space, the weird mystic type songs, going more straightforward rock and roll. Relentless, love it. I've always loved that album, that song, and I can't get sick of that song. Anything for you, kind of weak. Hold on, I love that song. Loner, great. Curtain of Iron, love it. Got the Rock On, another great, fantastic song. Don't Open Your Eyes, love it. No One Together, No Room for a Stranger, and Backdoor. Kind of ends a little weak, but I still love it. The whole album is fantastic to me. It just aged really well. Could change places with Monolith someday, but right now it's number 3. Sadly, this would be the final opus for the original players, original lineup. Steve Walsh would leave. Bobby Steinhardt would still. This will be his second to last. Dave Hope would be gone. And Dave Hope would not be seen on an album again until somewhere elsewhere. I think he became a pastor. I believe he became a pastor. So anyway, definitely check this album out. It's just fantastic. Just down to earth, hard driving rock and roll. So anyway, we're off to the top 2. Okay, if you're a Kansas fan, you pretty much know what the top 2 are going to be. You just don't know what order they're going to be in. I'm sure some of you are probably going, well, it's got to be that one. We know which one it is, but maybe not. Released in 1976. Album that's revered by a lot of people. Left Overture. Now, got a little story how I came to discover Kansas. One of my relatives, cousin to be exact, Lee Jenkins, he loved Kansas. And I remember and listening to some Kansas from time to time. So I decided to check it out, and I believe Point of No Return was the very first one I bought. So anyway, when I first heard Kansas, I didn't quite know what to make of it. You understand, I was into Kiss, ELO, and stuff like that. So this was really different. And I just didn't know what to say, think. This is not Black Sabbath. This is, where does this fall? Well, progressive rock is where it falls. And this album is the defining album for the Kansas sound. This is where all their hard work is starting to pay off. It starts out with Carry On Wayward Son. I know there's a lot of people who say they don't need to hear that song, but I'd love it. Leads into The Wall. What's on My Mind? Fantastic. Miracles Out of Nowhere. Fantastic. Opus Insert. Questions of My Childhood. Love it. Cheyenne Anthem, love it. And their epic magnum opus. I mean, the only songs that I would deem anywhere slightly weak would be The Wall. A lot of people love The Wall. It's a great song, but that and What's on My Mind, I still love those songs, but they're the ones that's kind of keeping this out from being number one with me. But if you've never heard this album, check it out. Definitely check out their live album, Two for the Show. Magnum opus on that. Oh, awesome. I love the live version of that song. The studio version is great. The live version, it just takes it to that upper level. I mean, you got the studio version down here, the upper level just slightly higher. But definitely check out the live version. So, but anyway, this album just, this is where like I said, the hard work pays off. So definitely check it out. Okay. But now we're on to number one. And you know what it is if you're a Kansas fan. Okay. Number one, released 1977. The very first Kansas album I ever bought in my life. Point of No Return. This album cover, this and all these album covers, just fantastic. This album, like I said, the very first one I ever owned. I remember listening to this all the time. And I was basically trying to figure out, do I really like this, or what is this? I was trying to figure out what exactly Kansas was. Of course, you got Point of No Return. It's played on the radio all the time. A lot of people say I don't need to hear that song anymore, but still love it. Paradox and The Spider. I remember listening to those songs, and especially The Spider. I don't know what it was. If it was the name per se, but it just creeped me out. Today I can listen to that song and I try to figure out what was so creepy about it. But anyway, Portrait He Knew and Closet Chronicles. I remember listening to those and trying to figure out what exactly are these about? Is it about some dude But they were. I think Portrait He Knew is, I want to say Nostradamus. I might be wrong, but. And the same with Closet Chronicles. Side 2, you got side 1, the strong. Side 2 just hits it out of the stadium. Starts out with Lightning's Hand. Fantastic. Then goes into Dust in the Wind. Sparks of the Tempest. Nobody's Home, and then Hopelessly Human. This is Kansas at their apex. I mean, and when you listen to this album, this and Left Overture, you can see why they had such a hard time coming close to equaling or topping these things. They were just perfection. I mean, if there's a perfect Kansas album, point of no return is it, with Left Overture right there, just a skoshi bit behind. And then, then you get hit with the live album. I mean, 2 for the show. If you want to hear a fantastic live album, that's it. So, anyway, there you go. There's Kansas, ranked. Please leave your own ranking down below. Let's do a little recap. There's number 1, Kansas, Point of No Return. Number 2, Left Overture. Excuse me, I disappear from you for a minute. Got too much stuff on my desk. I can't put everything on my desk. Okay. Number 3, Audio Visions. Number 4, Monolith. Number 5, Absence of Presence. Number 6, Song for America. Number 7, Mask. Number 8, The Debut. Number 9, Power. 10, In the Spirit of Things. Yeah. Number 11, The Elastic Measures. We're going to take The Elastic Measures with you. Number 12, Freaks of Nature. In fact, let me show you never showed you the back cover. There's the band at the time. I was looking forward to hearing more from that version, but it never was not meant to be. Number 13, Vinyl Confessions. Number 14, The Prelude Implicit. And number 15, Somewhere to Elsewhere. So anyway, there you have it. Kansas ranked. Let me know what your ranking is. And before I go, I just want to let certain people know that when you leave comments, especially stupid, ignorant comments, it still lives, it does hurt a little bit. I try to say, well, I got to consider the source. A lot of people don't understand things. I am what I am. If you don't like what I am, too freaking bad. Too freaking bad. I'm not going to change because you think I should change, or that I'm, or that you think I'm maybe a nobody trying to be somebody. If that's the way you think, don't bother to come on the channel, please. Don't bother to be part of my channel. Don't, just go live in your own pissed off world and drive down. I'm sure you probably drive down the road and you probably slam, force your way in front of people almost. In fact, I got to tell you this, last week on the way to work, people were getting off I-15 on the 12th Street, and they're supposed to slow down and yield to the oncoming traffic. Well, some people do, and I applaud those people. I applaud you, people who obey the traffic laws. But there's people who are just in such a hurry. This lady come flying across all lanes off the off ramp. Came right over into me. If I hadn't been paying attention, she would have wrecked my truck. I would have spun her out. You know, she probably would have done very little damage to my truck. But I would have spun her out. I was pissed. I pulled up and I asked her, you know, do you realize you almost caused an accident back there? She looked at me and goes, so. But anyway, you know, the only comments I'm interested in is the ones that have a positive, something positive to convey. If you're just going to leave negative, ignorant, bull crap, don't bother. Do not bother with it. It'll get deleted. I don't care if you don't like the way I talk, the way I look. You know, I was in a car accident when I was younger. That's why this eye doesn't work with the other one. I only have 3/4 vision in this eye. This is my good eye. I try to take very good care of it. Because if I had to live with this eye, well, I can see out of it, but, you know. But if you don't like the way I look or anything, just stay off the channel. But if you are interested in music, getting information on music and other things, please subscribe. I would really love to grow this channel. Like I said, I'm trying to do other things, but when you work 6 days a week, you only have 1 day off, and you're having to do other things like take care of your house, write books, spend time with people. It's tough fitting stuff in. So, but anyway, have a good week, and stay strong, and hopefully things will cool down eventually. Of course, we're right in the middle of summer. We'll see how it goes. So anyway, thanks for joining me. Have a good week, and we'll see you all probably, Saturday. We'll be doing the ranking of the songs off of Dream Theater's Awake album. A lot of things go according to plan. I almost didn't get this show out. I was sitting watching TV with my mom and said, "Oh, dummy, you got to do rankings." I was going to do Deep Purple, but I decided to do Kansas because there's some things I need to do with, But anyway, I'm not going to get into that. Oh, Deep Purple will probably be next time. Maybe after that will be Face Warning. We'll see. So anyway, have a good weekend, and we'll see you again next time. Thanks.